When I was little growing up in Australia, I remember thinking that making $1 million was insane. Like, you had to be some kind of tycoon to make it happen, a stockbroker, a celebrity, a tech founder, or something like that. $1 million felt like more money than anyone would ever need and way out of reach. But now, after making over $10 million online and helping people like my client Melissa hit $1 million in under 12 months, here's what I've realized. You don't need luck. You don't need fame. You don't even need to be that special. But you do need a mindset and skills that school doesn't teach any of us. And if I had to start from scratch today with no audience, no money, no connections, this is exactly what I'd do to hit my first million again. Stick around because step number 5 is the one that's going to make or break everything for you. Step 1, focus on the right things. When people want to build wealth, they start by cutting back generally. They cancel subscriptions, they skip the latte, they clip coupons, trying to save their way to financial freedom. And I get it, it feels like control. But here's the truth. You will never save your way to $1 million. Let's look at the actual numbers to prove it. So let's say you save $500 a month and you keep it in a normal savings account, earning 0.01%, which most do. Here's what that becomes. After 1 year, it's $6,000. After 10 years, it's $60,000. And after 20 years of doing that, it's $120,000. Now, here's the problem. Inflation. If inflation averages 3% a year, and lately it's been even higher, then that $120,000 isn't even really worth $120,000. It has the buying power of about $66,000. So in other words, you lost money by playing it safe. Now, if you compare that to investing that same $500 a month into a basic index fund averaging 8% return annually, which is a historical average of the S&P 500, that becomes, after 10 years, $91,000, after 20 years, $247,000, after 30 years, $745,000, and that's with the same $500 a month. The only difference is where you put it and when you started. Now, this is why investing isn't risky. Not investing is actually more risky. Even if you only have, say, $100 a month to start, you have to start because time matters way more than the amount. And here's the biggest mindset shift. People think investing is like a rich people thing. It's not. It's a do this or you will never retire type of thing. And this is why I teach personal finance and investing strategies inside my finance community, because school didn't, and this stuff really matters. Once you've got your money multiplying, then it's time to focus on the next 4 steps, the ones that build true and scalable freedom. Step number 2 is understanding leverage. Most people, when they want to earn more money, they think, I'll pick up more hours, or I'll get a second job, I'll grind harder. And I get it, that's what we're taught. But that kind of thinking is exactly what keeps you stuck. Because even when you're the hardest worker in the room, you're still capped. There are only so many hours in a day. And if your income depends on you showing up every single time, then you've built a job, not freedom. Leverage is how you break the time for money trap. It's the only way to earn more without actually working more. And if you don't understand leverage, then you're always going to be limited by your own effort. That's why most people are never able to get ahead. They work harder and harder and they still feel behind. And I know this because I started in that exact place. My first job, funnily enough, was actually working at McDonald's. And I thought working harder was the only way to get ahead. But working harder just made me tired, not rich. And the moment everything changed was when I learned that leverage is how wealthy people win. And here's the good news. You don't need money to start using leverage. You don't need a team. You don't need to be a business owner yet. But there are 5 types of leverage and they're available to everyone. So let's walk through each one and then I'll show you exactly how to use them, even if you're still working a 9-to-5 right now. The first is time leverage. And this is where most people lose before they even start. If you're spending your evenings doing $15 an hour tasks while you're dreaming of $100,000 years, then you're playing the wrong game. So here's how to shift it. Let's say that you calculate that your true hourly rate and it's $50 an hour. If you're cooking, cleaning, grocery shopping, and manually paying bills every night, you're not saving money. You're actually spending $50 every single time you do a $15 an hour task. Now, wealthy people, they don't fill their time, they actually buy it back. They ask, how can I use someone else's time or automation to reclaim my own? Could look like Instacart instead of grocery runs, auto paying instead of panicking to pay your bills each month, a cleaner once a month instead of 4 hours scrubbing and doing it yourself. Even a few of these shifts can buy back 5 to 10 hours a week so that you can reinvest that time into building a system that produces income without being tied to your time. Now, the second is money leverage. Most people let their money sleep. Wealthy people, they give it a job. They give every dollar a job. Now, if you're saving $500 a month and you're parking it in a bank account that's earning 0.1%, dead money. But if you invest in a basic index fund, you could grow it to $95,000 in 10 years. I see every dollar as a soldier. And your job is to send them to war to fight for your future, not to keep them locked away in the barracks. Now, I'll do another video solely around investing, but for now, just remember that you work for money. But money can and should work for you if you give it the right job. The third is product leverage, and this one honestly changed everything for me. Product leverage is just this. It's turning something maybe a skill, a process, a method, into something that people can buy without you needing to show up to teach it live every time. Now, back when I was working in banking, I was trading time for money, and I thought that was just how life worked. But eventually I realized, wait, my knowledge is actually the asset. I didn't need to sell my time. I could actually just sell what I knew instead. So I took what I'd learned about money, turned it into a course, and ended up teaching over 80,000 people how to build real financial freedom. And here's the part that blew my mind. That course kept working even when I didn't. So here's a simple way to think about it. Let's say you tutor people in Microsoft Excel and you charge $50 an hour. That's great, but you're capped, right? You're only making money when you're on. Now imagine you record those lessons and you turn them into a course instead for $50. You sell it 100 times, that's $5,000. Sell it 500 times, that's $25,000. Same skill, but now it's scalable. Now it's leveraged. And you probably already have something that that can be packaged up into something just like that. Something that you know how to do that someone else would pay to learn. Could be a template, a checklist, a system, a how-to. It doesn't need to be complicated. You just need to package it, and that's product leverage. And honestly, that one move, productizing what I knew, has made me over $10 million. And the rest of this video is gonna walk you through how to do exactly the same. The fourth type of leverage is content leverage. Now, when you talk to someone, you help that one person. But when you post something online like this, you can help thousands of people at once. That's the power of content. You could film a YouTube video today and someone might watch it 6 months from now and become a client. You could post something on Instagram that reaches someone you've never met and they might become your next customer, collaborator, or even a friend. That's what happened to me. I started posting when I was 20, and since then, over 100 million people have seen my videos, and it changed everything. So now when I create something, I think of it like this. Every post is a soldier. Every video is an asset. It's out there fighting for my message to be heard. You don't need to be famous, you don't need to be polished, you just need to show up and start sharing. Especially nowadays when AI is taking over more and more, and what used to be kind of safe career paths, your personal brand is your moat, it is your edge, because here's the truth. The people with the biggest audiences, they're not always the smartest, I'm sure you've seen that. But they win because more people hear from them, more people know that they exist. So if you haven't started building your personal brand yet, this is your sign. The fifth type of leverage is relationship leverage, and this one's probably the most underestimated, but will quietly determine pretty much everything in your life, because who you're around becomes your normal. And if you hang around people who think wealth is risky, who joke about success, who treat your ambition like it's a phase, you'll start shrinking your goals just to stay accepted. But the truth is this, that version of acceptance might be costing you everything that you want out of life. And that doesn't mean that you don't love these people. You can love someone deeply, but sometimes you just need to love them from afar, because growth requires boundaries. Let me give you an example. Imagine trying to get warm, but you're stuck in a freezer. You're doing everything to try and warm up, but it doesn't matter because your environment is working against you. Now imagine stepping into a sauna. You're doing the same things, but now we're sweating and it's almost automatic. That's the power of your environment. You could be the most motivated person in the world, but if you have shit people around you, you will struggle unnecessarily. And when you're in the right circles, it's going to be the opposite. You'll learn, you'll grow, and you'll make progress without even trying. So here's the question that I ask myself when I'm thinking about who to keep close. Does this person make it easier or harder for me to hit my goals? And it's not about judging other people. It's just about aligning yourself with the right people. That's why I create spaces like my finance community, my business communities, to help people get in rooms that actually support where they're going. And that's also why I built our software platform, MemberUp, because I believe more people should be able to build powerful communities of their own. Because once you're in the right environment, everything accelerates. Your mindset, your income, your identity, literally all of it. So quick recap on leverage. Let's say we have two people, same job, same pay, same 24 hours, but person A works all day. They come home and they stay busy doing everything themselves. No time, no space to think, no freedom. Now, person B starts using leverage instead. They buy back their time. They automate. They post online. They build a product on the side, and week by week, they build momentum. No magic, no hacks, just building leverage, little by little, chipping away at it. That is the game. Step number 3 is learning high income skills, because now that you understand leverage, the next logical question is, well, how do you actually build it? Well, you need new skills, right? Most of us graduate with just enough knowledge to get a job, but not enough to build wealth. That was me. I studied finance, I got into banking, thinking that would teach me everything I needed to know to get ahead. But I realized that it just taught me how to make someone else rich, not actually myself. It was teaching me to stay a part of the system that I was desperately trying to get out of. So if I were starting today, here's exactly what I'd focus on. Firstly, content creation, just like this, because you have to let people know that you exist. Even in a 9-to-5, knowing how to market yourself internally or online is a complete cheat code, because every single follower, every like, every view is a potential customer, partner, or opportunity. And once you know how to show up online, you unlock the ability to create product leverage. Second is offer creation. And this is where most people go wrong. They say, I want to build a course, and then they build it only to realize that no one's buying. There's crickets. And they think that they have a sales problem, but usually it's not a sales problem. It's actually the offer itself. Now, your offer is how you package what you're selling. And it answers the question that every buyer is asking. Is this going to help me get where I want to go in a way that actually feels doable and worth it? Now, if you communicate the value in a confusing way, it feels like it's going to take too long, if they're not sure it'll work for them, they are not going to buy, no matter how good your product is. That's why inside of Rise, we help people get this part right before they create anything. Because building the wrong product is one of the fastest ways to waste time, money, and motivation. That is why I always pre-sell any offer to stress test it first before building anything. I've done this with every single online course except for my first one. I did this with MemberUp, our software company. Every single offer, I always want to make an offer to the market first to validate it and see if it actually has legs before I go and expend time, energy, and effort actually building anything. Next up is sales. Now, this skill, more than any of the others, is going to change everything for you, especially your confidence. Most people avoid learning sales because they think it's pushy or manipulative. But the truth is, we're all selling all the time. You sold yourself to your employer to get your job. You sell your ideas to your team or your boss. You sell your time every week in exchange for a paycheck. Sales isn't just for business owners, it's how we all move through the world. And when you finally learn how to sell with confidence, everything gets easier. You make more money, you help more people, and for the first time, you actually feel in control of your life. And I'll be real, if you hate the idea of sales, just take a second and look around. Every single thing in your life, your phone, your shoes, your favorite products, someone sold them to you. And you don't hate the person that made them. You just haven't learned how to sell yet, so it feels uncomfortable to you. Fix that. Sales is a skill, and once you get it, it becomes a superpower. Step number 4 is to rewire your money mindset. Now, this one gets a little deeper, but it is so important. Because here's the thing. You can learn all the skills, build the product, master sales, stack leverage like a pro, but if deep down you still believe that money is bad or that wanting more makes you too selfish or too much, then you will block the very thing that you say that you want. That was me. I had to learn that money wasn't evil. It just makes you more of who you already are. If you're generous, it lets you give more. If you're creative, it creates space to create. And if you're impact driven, it amplifies everything. Wanting to be wealthy doesn't make you greedy. It means that you want freedom. And scarcity is not just about how much is in your account. It's actually a belief issue. You've got to stop avoiding your bank account and stop shrinking around people who make you feel like ambition is something you've got to hide. And you've got to start seeing every dollar as a soldier, something that you can put to work to fight for your freedom. Avoiding money doesn't make you humble, it just keeps you stuck. And once I started shifting how I thought about money, everything changed. It started flowing easier, I stopped feeling guilty for wanting more, and started feeling responsible for building. But here's the second part that no one talks about. Being open to receiving money is one thing, but you also have to create something valuable that gives money a place to land, right? You need something to receive it. And it's not enough to journal about abundance and then wait for it to show up, right? You need a tangible vehicle, something that solves a real problem, helps real people, and gives you a way to receive that in return. Now, it could be a digital product, a service, a course, a membership, whatever it is, it becomes the channel that allows money to flow to you. No vehicle, no flow. So yes, do the inner work, shift your mindset, heal your relationship with money, but also create something valuable. Create a container that lets abundance show up in your real life, not just in your journal. And step 5 is execute with ruthless discipline. Now, this is the one that separates people who want success and the ones who actually go and create it. Because everyone says they want a better life, but very few people are actually willing to show up when they don't feel like it. And I get it. Some days I'm fired up and focused, and other days I want to stay in bed, Uber Eats, and scroll, right? But I act the same either way, regardless of how I feel. Because consistency doesn't come from feelings, it comes from your identity. And at some point, you have to stop asking yourself, do I feel like it? And actually start deciding, No, I'm the kind of person who does the thing even when I don't feel like it. Now, here's something that you might recognize. If your boss gives you a deadline, you hit it, right? You want to show up, you stay late if you have to. But when you set a deadline for yourself, you push it, right? You tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. You procrastinate. And it's not because you're lazy. Procrastination isn't laziness. It's actually your brain trying to protect you from discomfort and fear and uncertainty. And I actually made a full video on this. So if that hits home, go and watch it next, because I walk through exactly what's happening in your mind and how to fix it. But here's the main thing to take away. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, especially when no one's watching. It means you don't reschedule on yourself. You don't chase quick dopamine when it gets hard. You don't wait for the perfect plan. You just start. Because feelings are not facts. You can feel them, but do the thing anyway. Now, you didn't watch this video by accident. Something in you, I know, wants more freedom, more income, more control. So the real question is, are you gonna act, or are you just gonna be watching videos like this 5 years from now, still saying, one day? You don't need a better plan, right? You need to actually follow through and execute. And that starts with what you do next after watching this video right now. So here's the play. Firstly, start investing and making your money work for you, even if it's just $100 a month. Time is your greatest asset. Join my finance community if you need help with a simple strategy that only takes about 5 minutes a month and anyone can implement. Secondly, you've got to build leverage. Start by productizing your knowledge. Learn content, learn offers, learn sales. Now again, my Rise program is built to walk you through this if you need help to hit 10K months in 90 days. Yes, it's possible. It's the system that Mel used to make $1 million in a year. But you've got to show up and do the work. It's not going to happen if you don't. And thirdly, audit your environment. Write down the names of 10 people you spend the most time with and ask yourself, does this person make it easier or harder for me to reach my goals? Not to judge them, just to get really, really honest with yourself. Because if the people closest to you don't support your goals, and they make you second guess your next move, if they think dreaming big is too much or it's wrong in some way, you're not just fighting for your future, you're actually fighting against your environment every single step of the way. Your habits, your standards, your energy, they're all shaped by who and what you're around the most. So here's the hard truth. Even if you're doing all the right things, if you're constantly surrounded by people who doubt, people who delay, people who drain you, you will move slower, period. That's why environment matters. That's why proximity matters. And that's why you need to be in rooms that normalize growth, where people think big and actually follow through consistently. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need a clean environment, a solid strategy, and discipline to keep showing up. Start there, start today, and just don't stop. I'm rooting for you.